sporting a baseball-looking pinstripe riding gear as we show you our up close for the main event. It's 20 laps, 20 riders, 25 points going towards the AMA Championship to the winner. Here's our Honda starting grid, and you will notice there's actually one extra rider, Paul Carpenter, taking advantage using a provisional to make it into the main event. Carmichael, Stewart, Chad Reed, maybe Villemin away.
Yeah, I'm thinking that somebody else is going to surprise us with the hole shot here tonight.
Here's the onboard camera.
I think Michael Byrne on the Rockstar Suzuki is a prime candidate, a great starter, and sure would be great for our helmet cam to see him out front.
Nick Way getting a hole shot.
And I think Nick Way actually got the hole shot award, but then James Stewart just snuck by on the inside down that first rhythm section.
Stewart blasts out of that big corner, and here comes Carmichael on the board.
He's got a little bit of work ahead of him. He's got some guys that are putting in some really good rides tonight in front of him, and he doesn't want to let Stewart check out any further than what he is right now, but I think it's going to be hard to stop that.
He's trying to catch Kevin Windham. This is the view from Michael Byrne right behind him on the Rockstar Suzuki. And behind Byrne is Chad Reed.
Windham definitely got something to prove, had a less than desirable main event last week. I think his team's looking for him to really show some determination and put in 20 great laps tonight.
A key thing to remember, Jeff, is that Ricky Carmichael has been the fastest rider here in Phoenix every time he's been on the track.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's had a great weekend. Looks like they got the Suzuki dialed in. Just goes past David Villemin there. And what they worked on this week from last week at Anaheim 1 was actually making the bike turn. The interesting thing about Carmichael, he's not going to be riding next week. He's only riding an abbreviated season, but he still works super hard each week to win.
Nick Way, or David Villemin. That's David Villemin down very hard.
He's moving a little bit. He might have
came through the rhythm section, the Asterisk medical crew right there to take a look at David. Meanwhile, up front, James Stewart.
Stewart doing just what he has to do to get out front here, stay clean, stay away from the other riders. He's going to come through this rhythm section where Villemin's down.
Now the riders will still run through the section, but no passing can take place during that section when there's an injured rider there being attended to. I had a long conversation with James's dad, affectionately known by everybody in the sport as Big James, as to where the future is. Well, let's go back and take a look first at what happened to David Villemin.
They were on board with Michael Byrne. Coming through here by the finish line, these guys got a pretty heated battle going on. Villemin opts to the right side as he comes in. He's single triples and he comes up short and goes over the bars hard. Just drives himself into up face of one of them jumps.
They're going to red flag the race to get more medical attention to David.
Now this is something that we have not seen.
Well, while the red flag is out, the race will come to a stop. We'll take the opportunity to take a quick break, and we'll be back to Phoenix for more after this. After an absolutely vicious crash, David Villemin gets up under his own power and walks off the track. The Asterisk medical crew doing a great job of attending to David Villemin, and he walks away. We are going to have a full restart after that red flag. 20 fresh laps. Here we go. This time, the whole shot, it of Jeff DeMent, but Carmichael gets an incredible struggle around the outside. He's into the lead. Where is Stewart? Here he comes on the 7 in second. That big lead just gets wiped away.
Yeah, this is just what Carmichael needed in that first start. Stewart hole shot and he was waving bye-bye. Carmichael needed this to get battle for the main event win here.
And Carmichael has been the fastest rider inside Chase Field all weekend. We'll see now if Stewart can match his pace.
Well, we're all going to get to see the battle that we were hoping would brew here. This way we get 20 laps of it.
These two put on an amazing chase for the championships last year. Carmichael ended up winning the AMA Series title for the 5th time. Stewart laid claim to the World Supercross Championship for the 1st time.
Listen to the sound of those 450s. When the track gets a little slippery like this, a little bit loose on top, these 450s are just amazing machines. So much horsepower.
Chad Reed, by the way, you saw him briefly on the 22, runs in 3rd.
Now let's see if Stewart, who is jumping the quad at the end of this next section, let's see if he changes it up here. Nope, stays to the triple. Watch how fast Stewart goes into this next set of whoops right here, way on the left-hand side.
That front wheel just sky high, barely skimming it across the rear wheel.
The whoop sections like that is where James Stewart excels over the other riders. He just has the ability to just hang it out, come into those whoops with so much speed.
So many people think that James Stewart rides on the edge at all times. And I asked James, I said, James, how close are you to the edge? And he said, you know what? In fact, you probably have never seen me ride on the edge. Really? He said, yep. He said, I have never ridden to my fullest potential in a Supercross race yet. The way the tracks are designed, I cannot ride at my fastest speed. He has more left in the tank, Jeff, if you can believe that.
And one of the things everybody asks me, how can James Stewart go so fast? Being a former racer myself, what I come up with is that as the rider is looking at the track and he's going through the obstacles, is that no matter how fast James rides, the track seems like he's processing the information and the track is going slow. What he's seeing is going slow, so.
What he's seeing is how he's gonna pass Ricky Carmichael as they come over the finish line jump, side by side.
Gives him a little bit of room there. I think he had the opportunity to maybe rub him a little bit there as they complete the first lap, but they were being real nice to each other, actually.
They always have been. They don't seem to, when they go bar to bar, they don't really push each other physically too hard.
And I think that that's a respect that they have for each other. They realize that that's not going to get them anywhere except going backwards.
It's interesting when you talk to Carmichael, the nickname, the GOAT, greatest of all time, but he will tell you he doesn't consider himself the greatest Supercross rider on the planet. He says he might be the best when it comes to winning championships. He's won 5 of them in Supercross. He's very good, he says, at being consistent over the course of the year. But in specific areas, he says, no way am I the greatest. In fact, he'll tell you, Stewart is the fastest, and a rider like Kevin Windham might be the most technical.
Yes, I definitely agree. This last lap, these guys way off the pace from their best times were in the low 41s, and they're a couple seconds off right now. That just shows that the track's getting very slippery. And,
does that give an edge to either one of these riders? Is either one better when the track gets slippery?
No, I don't think so. We're looking at the 2 greatest Supercross riders on the planet. And right now, it's much better to be where James Stewart is, believe it or not. He gets a chance to pace himself and watch Ricky Carmichael's lines and figure out some places where he can make the pass. It's a nervous position to be up front because you don't know what the guy is doing behind you. You don't know if he's moving around. You don't know if he's letting it all hang out or if he's doing it very easy.
One thing, though, Jeff, is it's very difficult to pressure Ricky Carmichael into a mistake.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. He's had plenty of pressure, and he deals with it well. I think the 2 sections are going to be the whoops. And I think James Stewart is setting up Carmichael for the second set of whoops. I think he's where we talked about the inside line is left open. Stewart's been making himself a line on the inside each lap.
Here comes Stewart. He's got to pass that time.
Well, he chose the first set.
Stewart takes the lead, and you can hear the crowd at Chase Field cheering loudly as they exchange the lead. Now, can Carmichael mount a challenge back? We talked about how they worked so hard on this Makita Suzuki to get that front end to load better so he can get through the corners better. Does it seem to be working for him?
Well, at first I sure thought so, but Ricky commented that last week that Stewart just seemed to be able to turn the bike lower out of the berms and get going down the straight sooner. And Ricky was driving deeper into the turns, and I think that's happening a little bit again tonight.
James Stewart on the monster Kawasaki out front, leading here in Phoenix, looking the sweet back-to-back weekend, winning at the last round at Phoenix, and now looking to back it up here in Anaheim and Phoenix. Here's a progressive hole shot replay.
And you see Jeff DeMint coming from way on the outside here, staying on the gas, just beating James Stewart to the line with a progressive direct hole shot award.
And the pass for the lead was completed like this.
Like I said, Stewart just comes into these whoops so fast. He just entered with so much speed. Carmichael had nothing for him at going into the turn.
Closing in on the halfway point here, Chase Field. James Stewart continues to lead. We'll be right back for more after this. It's the Mobile Supercross Series in action in Chase Field. James Stewart leading on his Kawasaki.
Yeah, this battle for the lead has just been so good. We stayed up there. We're going to get a chance to see some third and fourth right now. I'm sorry, fourth and fifth. Kevin Windham and Ferry. Best battle on the racetrack. Windham on the red Honda, number 14. Here comes Ferry, Stewart's teammate on the Monster Kawasaki team. On the number 15. We talked about how much pressure was on Kevin Windham, and joining that battle, Travis Preston on the red number 11. Here's Ferry. Oh, he tried to get inside, couldn't get it done. And Michael Byrne with our helmet cam on the Rockstar Suzuki is right at the end of that pack. These guys, you know, I really thought that these guys had a lot to prove tonight, and so far they're battling it out. Riding with Michael Byrne. Perry again applying the pressure to Windham. Preston on that number 11 had the factory ride at Kawasaki that Perry now has. Look at this section. These guys, some of these jumps here, it's just incredible that they can race each other, battle, you know, wheel to wheel through, you know, what are some pretty tough obstacles and some pretty tough sections. How much of that has been the improvement of the riders or the motorcycles? It's just the evolution of the sport, but there is no doubt in my mind that the 450 machines here in the last couple of years have made some huge improvements. They have so much low-end torque, not to mention great horsepower, but the torque allows them to ride the machine at a lower RPM and get more traction on a slippery track like this. Preston coming around Ferry. Remember, he lost that factory ride just this past winter to Ferry. So a little bit of personal revenge there to get back in front of that green number 15. Preston so close to the podium last week with a fourth place. Really seems to be comfortable and happy riding for Factory Connection again, which is a team that he had a lot of success with as a lights rider. I was saying, Preston, it was actually Michael Byrne that lost that ride. Yes, correct. These guys still pretty close. Look like Barry and Byrne backed off a little bit there that lap. A couple of Honda riders battling for the Honda supremacy. I'm sorry, Jeff. It's actually Michael Byrne that's closing in on Ferry now. So that storyline does come back into play as Byrne tries to get around Ferry. Here comes Preston on the outside of Windham. I would look for both of these guys to race each other pretty clean. They're both teammates. And actually, what they have in common is they're two of the taller riders on the circuit. They have similar riding styles because of that.
Is that an advantage on the bigger 450?
Well, you gotta think so, because these bikes are so much to handle. But, you know, along with being that tall, usually comes wearing a pretty big boot. Makes it, you know, they have to extend the shift levers, the brake levers, things like that.
Preston, 5, gets around Wyndham. That's for 4. And Byrne closing in. Looks like Byrne has gotten around Ferry. He was now chasing after Wyndham. And Carmichael has closed the gap back up on James Stewart. Less than a second between the two.
I think we're going to see Ricky Carmichael. He's always talked about he wants to be in it in the last 5 laps, and he feels that his advantage is in his fitness and his mental strength.
Here's back to Michael Byrne now, battling with Kevin Wyndham, and Byrne gets around him. That should move him up to 6th. Well, if Kevin Wyndham wasn't happy with performance last week, he's not going to throw with this one either. Yeah, he really seems to have, if he doesn't have an injury or a mechanical, he just seems to be off the pace, maybe lost a little bit of mental focus. No problems with that for James Stewart tonight. The hardest thing they say for James is to learn how to ride just fast enough to win. There's no doubt he has speed. But keeping it in control just to get to the finish is the thing the team is working on the most with him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. He just shows so much speed, and if you look at certain races last year, that he just backed his lap time down a little bit, maybe rode a little more comfortable, you know, he still would have won the races.
So where's Chad Reed? Here he is, the Australian rider with the hurt shoulder. Gutting out another 3rd place finish. Such an impressive run.
Yeah, Chad's in 3rd place right now, doing what he has to do to maximize his points, but he's 25 seconds off of the leader right now.
But Chad is thinking big picture. He's here to win a championship, and he knows by continuing to run and continue to make his way onto the podium each and every week, instead of just trying to nurse himself back to health, he keeps himself alive in this championship. Very much alive at that. Reed, of course, knows what it takes to win championships. He's done it before. Looking for another one here this year. And he really brought everybody up in Toronto when he took the season opening run. Here's Ivan Tedesco now. This is Stewart, or Carmichael's teammate, getting inside a Wyndham. They make a little contact. And Tedesco gets by. Boy, it has been a rough night for Kevin Wyndham. And here is Stewart on his final lap.
Yeah, Wyndham just getting lapped here. He's in the middle of this battle for the lead.
Stewart looking for back-to-back wins. He is currently lapped all the way up to 8th. Oh, and Tedesco and him get together.
That was very interesting. I think I see James Stewart looking over to his right, making Tedesco wasn't going to come into play, but...
Checkered flag for James Stewart. Back-to-back wins for the Kawasaki rider. Carmichael finishes a close 2nd. Just over a 2nd behind him.
Stewart is very happy. He's definitely shown that he's got the speed and he's putting it together. You see Ivan Tedesco here. What he's saying is, hey, I was looking back. I didn't think you were going to cut down. I was afraid that was going to happen. So right now they're just sorting it out that wasn't an intentional.
And remember, they came together in practice in Toronto, and that's what hurt Tedesco's hand. So that's a big moment there to clear the air.
Yeah, that could have been really tricky there.
Let's show you what happened there between the two.
So Tedesco's thinking Stewart's going to go wide. I've been watching Stewart. He's been cutting down every lap. So Tedesco's trying to get out of the way, and they just came together.
Here's a look at our Suzuki results. Suzuki's Ricky Carmichael finishes in 2nd behind the Kawasaki of James Stewart, and Yamaha's Chad Reed comes home in 3rd with the Honda. Travis Preston in 4th. Now let's head down to Aaron.
Well, the lucky number 7 took the lead on lap 7. James, a little bit of bumping and grinding going out there between you and Ivan Tedesco. Were you expecting that retaliation?
You know, it's always an